Dr. Gyanendra Sharma was a district judge in several districts. Punjab University, Chandigarh has awarded his doctorate on 9/6/2014. 14. His research topic was evolving the principles for ensuring social, economic, and political justice to women, a study. And key areas of research were rights of transsexual genders and other untouched areas of gender justice. He has set up a free legal aid clinic for pre-marriage counseling of youths and army persons to fulfill the dream of his only son, who unfortunately died in May this year after suffering serious head injuries in a mission. Now, I request Mr. Gyanendra Sharma to charge.
Thanks, Lordship. First of all, I thanks Almighty God for giving me the wonderful opportunity to address the galaxy of judges, police officers, other stakeholders of the judicial system in auspicious presence of Honorable Judges. My Lord, Honorable Justice Verma, my mentor, Honorable Justice Dhani, Honorable Director of the Academy, all the Honorable Judges present here, police officers, administrative officers, doctors, other participants of this workshop who had joined this workshop in physical mode and virtually. I will prefer to start with a quote of Jeff Keller from his famous book, Attitude is Everything. I quote, "We become what we think about." Accordingly, we will think about a particular class that will guide our behavior, individual, familial, and social, toward that particular class. There are so many international conventions, constitutional protections for the transgender persons. In international conventions, I will refer Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 1, 3, 5, and 12, because it is only 45 minutes time, and I have to request Honorable Justice Dhani as well to speak on this topic. So I will not explaining what is Article 1, apart from this, that every person is born free and equal. No discrimination can be made in his equality. The International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, 1966, Article 6, 7, and 17, deals with the rights of transgenders, general persons, including the transgenders. The United Nations Conventions Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman, and Degrading Treatment on Punishment, 1987, Article 21 also deals with certain rights, liberty, and freedoms of the transgender persons. These were not sufficient for international organizations. The United Nations directed its organs to have some specific principles at the international arena to be laid down for the benefit of transgenders, and that is the reason the Yoga Carta principles came in. The Yoga Carta is a place in Indonesia in 2006. I'm sorry, I was not able to sum up the persons. Yoga Carta is a place in Indonesia. Some human rights activists sit over there, decided certain norms to be adopted, particularly for this class, that is the transgender. I will refer those norms. That is a right to universal enjoyment of human rights, right to equality and non-discrimination, the right to recognition before the law, the right to life. Here I can add one thing more, which I encountered during my research. And with the permission of Honorable Justice Verma, I will likely to inform you that my postdoctoral is particularly on the rights of transgenders and the rehabilitation mechanism of transgenders. So in that I have gone very deep. Okay, what may be the problems before the transgenders? What may be the mechanism to be developed for the reformation of the transgenders? Right to life. I'm not talking about Article 21 of the Constitution. The first question is right to live. Right to existence in this universe. During the research, it came out that there may be the three possibilities. There may be the three familial and the social behavior with a transgender child who is born with disturbed sexual organs, unnatural sexual organs. There are three behaviors which has come in my research, that is elimination. Kill him. Just like the female feticide. Female infanticide, not feticide. Female infanticide. Kill him. The second is abandon him. And third is the most likely handed over him to a transgender group. किसी कोठी को सौंप दो। ये तीन पॉसिबिलिटी है जब कोई बच्चा किसी एबनॉर्मल सेक्स और फीचर से पैदा होता है, ट्रांसजेंडर पैदा होता है। इन तीनों को ओवरलुक करने के लिए फर्स्ट राइट टू बी रिकॉग्निशन, दैट द राइट टू लिव, दैट राइट टू एक्जिस्टेंस, बिफोर द राइट टू लाइफ। The next is right to privacy, which was ignored by all the organs of the Indian democracy. Right to treatment with humanity, with detention and the protection for medical abuse. Dear sirs and madams, there are so many protections in India as well. The preamble of the Constitution, Article 14 of the Constitution, equality before the law, 14, 15, 16. Article 19 of the Constitution give the certain liberties. Article 21 of the Constitution. Apart from that, what was the real situation? Let me express that. I'm giving an example which is given by Mona Bandhopadhyay in his book. She is a famous transgender. During my research, I have walked all over India, had the interviews of 10 top transgenders of India. Mona Bandhopadhyay is one of them. She has written a book, The Goddess is Lakshmi. I have taken this quote from her book, that if you are on a traffic signal and one side there is a transgender requesting for money, she's not begging, she is requesting for money, and on the other side there is a woman with her child in her lap begging for money, whether your behavior, attitude will be the same for both of the sides? Certainly not. I'm asking for myself. You may introspect yourself what your behavior will be. जब एक तरफ ट्रांसजेंडर अक्सर मिलते हैं, किसी भी सिग्नल पे चले जाइए, ट्रेन में चला जाइए, बस में चले जाइए, क्या हमारा माइंडसेट उनके प्रति नॉर्मल होता है, which is supposed to be a normal behavior from a man of prudence? नहीं होता. We have some distinctive attitude toward them जो बाकी के प्रति नहीं होता, और जो अलग वो एटीट्यूड है उसी को चेंज करने के लिए ये वर्कशॉप है. Otherwise, very beautiful worded provisions, international conventions, very beautiful worded protections, an Indian constitution, very beautiful worded act, that is the Transgenders Act, Transgender Persons Protection of Right Act of 1919 and Rule of 2020. Beautiful worded है. ये रखा रहेगा जब तक हम अपना एटीट्यूड टुवर्ड देम चेंज नहीं करेंगे, जब तक हम अपना बिहेवियर टुवर्ड देम चेंज नहीं करेंगे. दे डोंट रिक्वायर सिंपैथी सर, उनको सिंपैथी में नहीं चाहिए. 10 रुपए का नोट उनको सिंपैथी में मत दो, 10 रुपए का नोट उनको कर्स में मत दो. दे द कर्स ऑन द ह्यूमन बीइंग, बिकॉज in research it has been developed, it has come to before me that there are three theories. The theory of karma, as given by Gita, the theory of that hormonal changes, and the biological and the psychological theory, which is responsible for being a human, that transgender. It is not the fault of a child, sir. एक बच्चा पैदा हुआ है abnormal sex gender से, एक genders abnormal gender से, The problem is of gender identity. उसकी आइडेंटिटी नहीं कर सकते एट द टाइम ऑफ द बर्थ और देयर आफ्टर, ये उसकी फॉल्ट नहीं है। वो जब किसी फॉल्ट के पैदा ही नहीं हुआ था, देन वाही इंडिविजुअल, फैमिलियल एंड द सोशल आउट जो माइंडसेट है उनके प्रति डिफरेंट क्यों? नाउ द क्वेश्चन अराइज, जो एक्ट से पहले, एक्ट को हम बाद में डिस्कशन करेंगे, द क्वेश्चन अराइज, हु आर ट्रांसजेंडर्स? Transsexual persons, including transgender, are those who establish a permanent identity with a gender opposite to their gender identities at birth. जो बर्थ पे पैदा हुए हैं उनकी जेंडर आइडेंटिटी विद दैट जो एस्टेब्लिश बर्थ पे हुई है उससे डिफरेंट है। There is a conflict in medical science and the law regarding the identity. Law समझता है कि जेंडर आइडेंटिटी फिक्स है, that is the binary gender identity. A person can be male or a female. Law ये समझता है, मेडिकल साइंस ये नहीं समझता, मेडिकल साइंस डिफरेंट समझता है। लॉ को भी उसमें लाने के लिए कि नो, इट इज नॉट ऑन द बाइनरी कंसेप्शन ऑफ जेंडर आइडेंटिटी। दिस एक्ट हैज कम इनटू एग्जिस्टेंस, वी विल डिस्कस लेटर ऑन। There is a conflict in medical science and the law regarding the identity, existence, protection of rights, and rehabilitation of transsexual persons. Thus, the problem is obvious. The problem is in identity of a transsexual person, the recognition of their rights to gender identity and sexual orientation, and the protection of their rights and proper rehabilitation. Every human being naturally belongs to one or two discrete gender categories, masculine or feminine, which is determined by biological giving sexual characteristics, male and female. A small number of people find the gender they are assigned does not match with their gender identity. Their internal sense of where they exist in relation to being boys or men or girls or women. A wide variety of terms can be used to describe a person whose gender identity is different from their birth gender level. Similar thing happens when sexual identity does not match with assigned sex. Transsexual is the burning example of that. Sexual and gender deformity can be seen differently. Sometimes the deformity is visible at the time of birth. Intersex person is an example. If any person apparently has deformities in sexual genitals, it is a case of intersex. In case of gender, it's conferred on the basis of sex of a person at the time of birth. But really, the gender is not matching with the sex assigned at the time of the birth. Such person is known as the transsexual. Thus, every known society has a gender-sex system. This important question is, what is sex and gender? On sex and gender, there are so many research, and I will let you know that the sex को determine करने का principle दिया है, that has not given by a doctor or a medical person, that has given by the Judge Duke. The word sex, male and female, are words in common usage and understood by the general population. The Black's Law Dictionary defines the sex as the sum of peculiarities of the structure and function that distinguish a male from a female and a female from a male. The sex can be determined by 8 categories, as Judge Duke has said. Chromosomes के माध्यम से, hormones के माध्यम से, physical appearance, sexual organs के माध्यम से, जो internal sexual organs हैं उनके माध्यम से, physical bodical appearance के माध्यम से, जैसे breast आती हैं, बाल आते हैं, उनसे determine होता है, या sex brain या brain sex या psychological sex जिसको कहते हैं, उसके माध्यम से। इन सब के देखने के बाद बच्चे की बर्थ पर उसको सेक्स असाइन किया जाता है। सेक्स दे दिया, either male or female. Intersex person, there is some confusion in determining the sex of a boy or a girl, whether male or female. That is the intersex person. The gender is different than the sex. The sex of the person may be other, but he may have another gender. The gender, on the other hand, is one's own specific way of interacting with presenting oneself to the world. How he presents to himself first, how he presents to the family, how he presents to the society, and how he presents to the world is the gender. Gender is how we move through the world. Gender is a sense of self or relationship in the world. One sense of self is organic and interrelation. Gender is expressive, so there is a difference in the term sex and gender. Sex is determined at the time of the birth by 8 categories, which I have explained earlier. Those are the categories. Sex is determined. If the sex cannot be determined, that is the intersex persons, and we can say Onj, Hijras, or third gender. Now I come to the Act. What the Act says about the definition of the transgender person. Section 2K of the Act. I'm not giving in detail what Act का पूरा नाम. Short में the Act में हम कहें तो this Act. Rules हम कहें तो this rules. Transgender person means a person whose identity does not match with the gender assigned to that person at birth, and includes in the definition clause too, because it is the galaxy of the judges, they may know very well what is the meaning when means and includes both terms are included in any particular clause. Gender person means a person whose gender does not match with the gender assigned to that person at birth, and includes trans men, trans woman, or person with intersex variations, grandpeer, and person, ये एक जनरल क्लाउज भी इसमें दे दिया, and person having such socio-culture identities as Kinna, Gujarat, Aravani, and Jokta. I have very well written the meaning of all these categories which is written in the section 2A. Purpose वही है. ट्रांसेक्सुअल पर्सन, ट्रांसजेंडर पर्सन वो पर्सन है जिसकी जेंडर आइडेंटिटी में कंफ्यूजन है. किन्नर भी कहला सकता है, वो इंटरसेक्स पर्सन भी कहला सकता है, वो ट्रांसमैन भी कहला सकता है. ट्रांसमैन मीन द पर्सन हु इज अ मेल. ट्रांसमैन मीन्स हु वाज द फीमेल बट हैज कन्वर्टेड टू मेल. The problem of identity of gender has been resolved by this act. We will deal with slightly later on. It is the confirmed law of the land that whenever means and includes is used in any definition, it means that is an exhaustive clause which has been determined in this section. जो इसमें लिखा है उसी को हम मानेंगे, अदरवाइज देन नहीं मानेंगे. ये यूज इसलिए किया गया था जब ये एक्ट इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ पार्लियामेंट में, सेलेक्ट कमेटी को भेज दिया गया था. मैं डील कर रहा था, देख रहा, क्योंकि मेरी रिसर्च पोस्ट डॉक्टर की, तो मैं वो रखा था क्या चल रहा है, कैसे चल रहा है. एंड टू द इंफॉर्मेशन हिज लॉर्डशिप एंड द ऑनरेबल जस्टिस ध्यानी जी, इन माय रिसर्च थीसिस I have enclosed a draft act, the protection and rehabilitation of transgenders bill, and that is the part of my thesis, and this bill was sent to the central government. I don't know whether that was considered or not, but I have sent that bill in 2014. तो मैं देख रहा था कि वहां क्या चला. वो select committee को भेजा गया. There was a great discussion, deep discussion, whether these lesbians and gays should be included in the term transsexual and transgender. That is the reason this definition was given by the legislation, by the parliament. Not included lesbian, जैसे akka, aravani, hijra, these words, trans man, trans woman, these words were used in this, but lesbians and gays were not included. I'm a research scholar. I have been a judge as well. I can expressly express my opinion that it is a clear-cut definition given by the parliament. Why the gays and lesbians were not expressed, impliedly they have been included. Why the lesbians and gays were not included in the definition? क्या कोई आदमी अपनी इच्छा से गे बनना चाहता है? क्या कोई आदमी अपनी इच्छा से लेस्बियन बनना चाहता है? नो सर्स, नहीं बनना चाहता। वही जेफ कैलर पे जाइए, अवर थिंकिंग मेक इट सो, उसकी जो एटीट्यूड पे जाइए, उसका क्या एटीट्यूड होगा जब वो के रिप्रेजेंट करता है अपने को, सोसाइटी को, स्वयं को। जब वो लेस्बियन वो करता है, अपने को लेस्बियन ट्रीट करती है, उसमें या सोसाइटी में। थैंक गॉड कि पार्लियामेंट ने एक वर्ड यहां पर यूज कर दिया, and person having such socio-culture identities as Kinnar, Hijra, Aramnier, Joga, and I will not hesitate to say that lesbians and gays has such a social and cultural identities. For me, lesbians and gays are also included in this definition, and they must be protected by the courts, by the police officers, by the administrative officers, particularly by the DMs, when application under section 4 and 5 was filed again before them. Now the problems faced by the transgenders. Now the problems faced by the transgenders. I will give a few examples. I will deal with certain judgments of the Honorable Supreme Court. One judgment, the famous judgment, which the Honorable Justice Sharma has referred, the National Legal Service Authority versus Union of India. Other judgments are the very first time came before the Honorable High Court of Delhi, that Justice Shah decided the case, that is the Naz Foundations versus Government of Delhi. Second was the Suresh Kumar Kaushal. Unfortunately, Supreme Court has the adverse opinion divided that he quashed the judgment, the findings of the judgment of Naz Foundation. Finally came Navjot Singh Johar case, in which again the principles laid down in Naz Foundations were confirmed by the Supreme Court. Another was the National Legal Service Authority versus Union of India, and third judgment Rano versus Rajani, which the Justice Sharma has also referred, just all of the Justice Manoj Tiwari ji and all the Justice Rajesh Sharma ji, and I'm not, if I'm not wrong, Justice Mathani, during the research I have come to know, has also given a judgment regarding a transgender or polygamist. That judgment is also lying with me. In Naz Foundation's case, certain problems have been referred by Delhi High Court, what the transgenders are facing, and in general, if I can tell you that what they are facing are some of the common and reported problems that transgenders most commonly suffer are harassment by the police. It comes at number 1 in the public place. Harassment by the family. And it is the greatest harassment that a person is handed over to the group of the transgender. Why can't he live with the family? He has a right to live in the family. He has a right to form the family. He has a right to adopt the child. After this act, they have all the rights. Harassment in the home, police harassment, the rape, discrimination, abusing in the public place. The other major problem that transgender people may have in their day-to-day life are discrimination, lack of education, lack of medical facilities, loneliness, unemployment, depression. This is the greatest. They are always living in the depression. See their behavior. When you are encountering them, they are asking the money. हम कह देते हैं वे बड़ा तंग करते हैं, रेल में बहुत उत्पात मचाते हैं, लेकिन उनका वो माइंडसेट देखिएगा प्लीज कि किस माइंडसेट में वो जीवन जीते हैं. उस माइंडसेट को कंसीडर कीजिएगा. एंड योर जुडिशियल बिहेवियर, योर एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव कॉन्शियंस, योर जुडिशियल कॉन्शियंस शुड बी गवर्न्ड बाय दैट their attitude. कि what is their attitude behaving? Why are they behaving so like this? They are not normal human beings, sir. उनका माइंडसेट दूसरे तरीका है. वो डिप्रेशन में है, जनता ने सताया है, समाज ने सताया है. और आई कैन गिव द एग्जांपल ऑफ अल्मोड़ा. I was sitting with a doctor. I was not feeling well. A transgender came. A doctor कहता है कि सर अगर आप अनुमति दे दो पहले इससे निपट लो. This is the mindset. ये माइंडसेट है हमारा, निमटने का माइंडसेट है. मैंने कहा सर वो भी बीमार है मेरी तरह, मुझे भी बुखार है, उसे भी बुखार है, यार बुखार की दवाई दो, उससे निपटो मत. ये माइंडसेट चेंज करने की बात है सर. इन कॉन्फ्रेंसेस का, वर्कशॉप का उद्देश्य ही केवल माइंडसेट चेंज करना है. अपना माइंडसेट चेंज करो. You cannot change the mindset of that person. You can add to change the mindset of the transgender by your change of your behavior, change of your temperament. So these are the problems that the transgenders are facing, and I'm quoting some problems which are mentioned in the Naz Foundation's case. Two episodes are mentioned, that is the Lucknow episode, and the that is another is Bangalore episode. In Lucknow episode, in Lucknow there is a Bharosa Trust. Two transgenders, two persons, not transgenders, two persons were interrogated by the police under section 377. पुलिस ने इंटेरोगेशन के दौरान, इन्वेस्टिगेशन के दौरान उनके पास से कुछ सेफ सेक्स मटेरियल पकड़ा। अब वो सेफ सेक्स मटेरियल भरोसा ट्रस्ट का। ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ सेफ सेक्स मटेरियल, द पुलिस ने इन्वेस्टिगेशन में कहा कि दे आर प्रोपोगेटिंग सेक्शन 377। इनका जो सेक्स मटेरियल है, सेफ सेक्स मटेरियल, ये प्रोपोगेट करता है, अबेक्ट करता है 377 को। और जो वहां के 4 हेल्थ वर्कर थे, 292 प्लस 377, क्या लिंक था सर? 377 का उनसे कोई लिंक ही नहीं। वो मटेरियल केवल प्रोवाइड कर रहे थे कि इफ यू हैव सेक्स विद द सेम पर्सन देन यूज सच समथिंग, adopt such practices to have the same sex. This was the material only. ज्यादा से ज्यादा 292 हो जाता, 377 लगा दिया उस पर भी, and unfortunately magistrate ने रिमांड कर दिया। They remain behind the bar, that workers of the trust behind the bar for 47 days. This incident, it is recorded in the this Naj Foundation's case. Another incident was the Bangalore incident. A hijra in women dress was roaming along the road. A group of hooligans arrested him, beat him up, tortured him. He was taken to a seclusion, subject to rape and sodomy, oral sex. He was handed over to the police. पुलिस में भी जाके उसके साथ गलत ट्रीटमेंट हुआ। This is also part of the Naj Foundation judgment. Third is Lakshmi versus the state of Tamil Nadu. The Tamil Nadu High Court का जजमेंट था जो नाज फाउंडेशन में रेफर हुआ है। चोरी के आरोप में एक ट्रांसजेंडर को पकड़ा, उसको मारा, स्ट्रैप नाइफ, wooden stick was inserted in his anus. He could not tolerate this torture. अपने में आग लगा ली, वो मर गया पुलिस स्टेशन पे। ये कोई इंस्टांसेस तो वो हैं जो जजमेंट में कोडेड हैं। अदरवाइज यू कैन सी द जनरल बिहेवियर ऑफ विद द ट्रांसजेंडर्स इन पब्लिक आउटराइट। देखा जा सकता है उनके साथ बिहेवियर ऐसा। थर्ड वाज दैट आल्सो invoked judicial conscience of the judges. There was a case of 366 before the magistrate. Then two women went together, and the magistrate took the cognizance in section 367 as well. Sumoto, presuming कि ये दोनों एक साथ गई हैं, तो इनमें लेस्बियन रिलेशंस रहे होंगे, अननेचुरल सेक्सुअल एक्टिविटी रहे होंगे, जबकि पुलिस रिकॉर्ड में कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं था कि उनके साथ ही रहा। सिंपली सीटर 366 का केस था। द मजिस्ट्रेट टुक द कॉग्निजेंस। द नेक्स्ट इज द एफिडेविट ऑफ अ ट्रांसजेंडर व्हिच वाज द पार्ट ऑफ द प्लीडिंग्स बिफोर द नाज फाउंडेशन केस। किस तरीके से उसका टॉर्चर हुआ। And next example I can give, that is a very social alarming example, the Pinky case. सब जानते होंगे पिंकी को। स्प्रिंटर थी, गोल्ड स्प्रिंटर, एशियन गोल्ड स्प्रिंटर। उसको पकड़ लिया पुलिस ने on the charge of rape with another living relation girl. A famous case. She was posted in Calcutta. एक लड़की उसके साथ रहती थी, लड़की ने रिपोर्ट कर दी, इसने मेरे साथ रेप किया है और ये लड़का है। इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस ने उसका सेक्सुअल टेस्ट किया है, सेक्स डिटर्मिनेशन टेस्ट हुए थे जब वो दौड़ी थी ट्रैक्स पर, और इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने उससे कहा था कि यस शी इज अ फीमेल, और एज अ फीमेल ही वो दौड़ी थी, लेकिन उसको पकड़ लिया। शी वाज केप्ट बिहाइंड द बार इन अ मेल प्रिजन। उसको बुखार हो गया, पुलिस ने क्या किया, उसको उठाया और डॉक्टर के सामने फेंका कि ट्रीटमेंट तो करो, इसका जेंडर टेस्ट भी कर दो। विदाउट हर कंसेंट, विदाउट द कंसेंट ऑफ द कोर्ट, विदाउट द कंसेंट ऑफ द मजिस्ट्रेट। और उसका जेंडर टेस्ट करा लिया, ब्लड टेस्ट में क्रोमोसोमल टेस्ट आए, हार्मोनल टेस्ट आए, और डॉक्टर्स ने कह दिया कि ये मेल भी है और फीमेल भी है, इसमें दोनों सेक्सुअल ऑर्गन्स हैं। जो 8 के पैरामीटर बताए थे, उन 8 में से कुछ फीमेल के आए, कुछ मेल के आए, और उसको कह दिया शी इज अ मेल। थैंक गॉड हाई कोर्ट वाज देयर, थैंक गॉड ह्यूमन कमीशन वाज देयर, थैंक गॉड साइबर सेल वाज देयर, साइबर कमीशन वाज देयर। तीनों ने इश्यू मोटो कॉग्निजेंस लिया, समन द पुलिस रिकॉर्ड। व्हाट इज गोइंग ऑन सर? हाउ यू कैन डू इट? Ultimately, who will decide what is my gender? I'm a boy, but my brain sex is of a female. Who will decide what is my gender? I will decide, sir. Pinky will decide. No other person, as per the international conventions, as per Article 1421, and as per this act. Before this act, there was some vacuum in the law. Because these protections, international protections, constitutional protections, are for general people, not a particular category of person, that's the transgender. That particular protections were in Yoga Kata principle only. And on the basis of the Yoga Kata principle, the Honorable Supreme Court has given the judgment in National Legal Service Authority versus Union of India. तब ये protection अब तो act में भी आ गया ना. Who will decide? I will decide. That person will decide. Maybe if I'm having any sex, these two terms are different, and that make the gender identity, the right to gender identity, which is protected by Article 14, 21, 19, which is protected by this act, which is protected by so many international conventions, including the Yoga Kata principle. I may be a different sex, but I may have the different gender. And it is what the Supreme Court has used the word, what this act used the word, my self-perceived gender. I have the right to have my self-perceived gender. I may be a male, but I may approach to the DM under Section 4. You say, gentlemen, my sexual organs may be of male, but I am a female. You categorize me as a transgender. Firstly, he will be categorized as a transgender under Section 4. And if he or she is further deciding that I want to change my sex by SRS, sex reassignment surgery, और ये पहले कॉमन नहीं था, जो लॉ में परिवर्तन आना शुरू हुआ वो सेक्स रीअसाइनमेंट सर्जरी के बाद ही आना शुरू हुआ, हार्मोनल थेरेपी के बाद आना शुरू हुआ, मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट के बाद आना शुरू हुआ। हम जानते हैं अच्छी तरह 2 तरह के हार्मोन्स होते हैं, मैन में अलग होता है, फीमेल में अलग होता है। वो हार्मोन थेरेपी दी जाती है, अगर जो मेल टू फीमेल ट्रांससेक्सुअल है तो उसको फीमेल वाले हार्मोन्स दिए जाएंगे, अगर फीमेल टू मेल ट्रांससेक्सुअल है उसको हार्मोन वाले वो दिए जाएंगे। ये ट्रीटमेंट के बाद अगर वो ट्रांसजेंडर अपने को जेंडर स्पेसिफिक कराना चाहता है, then सेक्टर 6 and 7 में वो प्रोविजंस है, then he will again apply to the district magistrate. Then two options are given. Number 1, he will give the application to the district magistrate as per the procedure established by the government and the procedure established. Mr. Pradeep, there is some problem, sir? If you have any query to do, Mr. Goel, you ask me, sir.
Yes, I will let on.
And if you have query, you can raise the query in between, sir. इससे थोड़ा सा disturbance होता है, sir. Yes, I was talking about the section 4 and 5, 6 and 7. There are 2 remedies available to the transgender. Transgender definition इसमें है, बर्थ के समय पे अगर सेक्स असाइंड हुआ है वो उससे डिफरेंट है। फिर एग्जाम्पल दिए हुए, अगर ये है, आई थिंक उन एग्जाम्पल्स को तो क्लियर करने की जरूरत नहीं है सर, किन्नर का क्या मतलब है। Yes, yes. There are 2 remedies available. Section 4, 5, 6 and 7. Firstly, he will apply to the district magistrate that it is the right of my self-perceived gender. Self-perceived gender, he can go to the district magistrate, give me the certificate of the transgender. Here there is also a vacuum in law. A second day, after going through the treatment, he can apply for the specific gender, and the district magistrate will give the certificate of specific gender, either male or female, after the treatment. पहला सर्टिफिकेट ट्रांसजेंडर का, दूसरा सर्टिफिकेट स्पेसिफिक मेल और फीमेल का, if she or he has opted for the treatment prescribed in this act. The treatment, so far as the पहला जो सर्टिफिकेट दिया जाएगा as per rule 4, उसमें कोई मेडिकल एग्जामिनेशन नहीं होगा, जस्ट एक साइकोलॉजिकल की रिपोर्ट आएगी. देयर शैल बी एप्लीकेशन ऑफ द ट्रांसजेंडर पर्सन, सच लिबर्टी इज गिवन टू द ट्रांसजेंडर, ही विल मूव टू द डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट, एंड डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट आफ्टर गोइंग टू द रिपोर्ट ऑफ द साइकोलॉजिस्ट will confirm is the certificate of transgender, that he is the transgender. Then if he is opting for a treatment, psychological treatment, hormonal treatment, medical treatment, or the biological treatment, the SRS, sex assignment surgery, after that he can be declared as a male, female, whatever he like. जो उसने ट्रीटमेंट दे दिया है, इसके लिए उसे सीएमओ का सर्टिफिकेट डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट के सामने रखना होगा. सीएमओ उसको कंफर्म करेंगे, यस, आफ्टर द ट्रीटमेंट she is a female or he is a male. This is all about the act. Certain protections which I have already referred has been given in the act, and those protections in nutshell I will let you know. I have prepared a note. Prohibition against discrimination, that is that no discrimination in inclusive education, inclusive living in the society, inclusive living in the family. सभी के साथ फैमिली में रहना, सभी के साथ सोसाइटी में रहना, सभी के साथ अध्ययन करना. These protection has been given in the act. आप going in the show. Employment, कुछ नहीं होगा एम्प्लॉयमेंट में डिस्क्रिमिनेशन. हेल्थ केयर सर्विस लेके जाएंगे. हेल्थ केयर में SRS इज इंक्लूडेड, ट्रीटमेंट इज इंक्लूडेड. दैट शुड बी द गवर्नमेंट रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. गवर्नमेंट ने ये नहीं कहा, फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट नहीं लिखा है. Whereas in my research thesis I have suggested to constitute, it was an important suggestion given by me to constitute an intensive research and educational center for the transgenders. ट्रांसजेंडर्स के लिए एक इंटेंसिव रिसर्च एंड एजुकेशनल सेंटर बनाइए, जहां पर ट्रांसजेंडर का बच्चा वहां पढ़ भी सके, इंक्लूसिव एजुकेशन ले सके, उसका ट्रीटमेंट ठीक से हो सकते, और ओवरऑल जो अभी तक हमारी 3 थ्योरी हैं, द कर्मा थ्योरी, द बायोलॉजिकल थ्योरी एंड द साइकोलॉजिकल थ्योरी, उन थ्योरी के अलावा हम रिसर्च भी कर सकें कि ट्रांसजेंडर का कारण क्या है, वहां रिसर्च भी हो जाए. एक्ट ने कहा जरूर है, यस हम रिसर्च करेंगे, लेकिन रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट बनाने की बात नहीं है. I have given a suggestion in my thesis that there should be an establishment of intensive research and educational center, जहां पर ट्रीटमेंट भी हो, रिसर्च भी हो, बच्चों की एजुकेशन, इंक्लूसिव एजुकेशन भी हो. नेक्स्ट है राइट टू रिजाइड, अपने माता पिता के साथ रहना. अपॉर्चुनिटी टू पब्लिक होल्ड पब्लिक और प्राइवेट ऑफिसेस, एक्सेस टू द गवर्नमेंट प्राइवेट एस्टेब्लिशमेंट इन हुज केयर एंड कस्टडी द ट्रांसजेंडर पर्सन इज. अगर माँ बाप नहीं रखना चाहते हैं तो इट्स गवर्नमेंट की रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, वो शेल्टर होम में उनको रखे. बट अगेन ए क्वेश्चन, क्या शेल्टर होम जो हम कोठे पे बच्चे जाते हैं उनसे बेहतर है? अगर शेल्टर होम उनसे बेहतर नहीं है तो बच्चा वहां जाना पसंद करेगा. इसलिए एक्ट ने कहा कि हम जो इनका ट्रेडिशनल वर्क है, डांसिंग एंड सिंगिंग, इसको भी प्रोटेक्ट करने का प्रयास करेंगे. इट मींस इनडायरेक्टली शेल्टर होम्स में उन कोठे को भी एक्ट ने रिकॉग्नाइज किया कि जो इनका कल्चरल एक्ट है उसको भी हम रिकॉग्नाइज करेंगे. देन राइट टू रेजिडेंस, राइट टू एम्प्लॉयमेंट, healthcare, certificate of identity, how can I get the certificate? Welfare measure by the government. The government will initiate so many welfare measures, and there should be a national council to look after जो welfare measures बने हैं वो properly implemented है कि नहीं है, work कर रहे हैं कि नहीं कर रहे हैं. So again I will request you that everything is very beautifully worded. Act, enactment, Constitution, International Organization conventions, but the latter is the implementation. Who will implement? The police will say the judiciary should implement. Judiciary will say the police will implement. And I will again come to the Jeff Palace. National Legal Service Authority with the Union of India, His Lordship has referred. I'm not going on that. जो recommendations है आप पढ़ लेंगे. Part no recommendations है उसमें. पढ़ लीजिएगा सर. यही है जो यहाँ discussion हुआ है. Again, I will come back to Jeff Keller, sir. Please change your attitude. Don't see the police should change the attitude, then I will change my attitude. No, the police personnel should change their attitude. No, they should not wait for the police, the order of the judiciary. Why are you waiting? Justice doesn't lie in the hands of the judicial system, judicial officers. Justice means if there is any problem before any authority and he is resolving that problem. Problem may be before the police officer, may be problem with administrative officer or any person. If he is resolving the problem according to law, that is the justice. I'm requesting you to do justice with this clause. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.